All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have race number 3 of the Area 51 Sunday SuperTruck Series, and we are here at not Atlanta, not Talladega, iRacing Superspeedway race number 3. We've already run at Atlanta and Daytona to kick off the season, and with wins from Brandon Briggs and most recently the number 83 of Jack Walls. So right now, those are the winners so far this season. However, our point leader is going to be that number 11 truck of Matt Wagner by 4 points over Gabe Butler. And then Dude Conrad sitting in third. And actually seeing a couple of those drivers we just talked about not in the field, it looks like this evening. Don't see Dude Conrad tonight. Also don't see Brennan Briggs, who entered tonight in fourth. But of course, do have a drop week, so some of these might be the drop week for some of those guys, or maybe hopefully they can make a quick and late appearance. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Had a quick little setup adjustment as had the wrong setup in for the trucks here this evening, so to make a quick change there. However, business back as usual here. 70 laps tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. 1 fast repair and 3 attempts of a green-white checkered finish, should we need it, here on Green-White Checkered TV. So with that, qualifying is underway at the moment. Everybody's got 1 lap to try to get their best lap in and see what they can make happen here. So waiting for those drivers to fill out their laps, see who actually maybe decides to make a lap. Maybe someone tries to start towards the back here, as there is those bonus points for highest climber, as well as our pole award, and of course the 2 bonus points for an incident-free race. Unfortunately, I do not see Favorite Son in the grid this evening, so I don't believe he will be on track, unfortunately. I'll let him know that his fan club is impatiently awaiting his return to the front because, I mean, that one race he ran, I mean, he was top 5 and got a great result, so he needs to get back out there again. So hopefully he gets things squared away. I think kind of still getting all the cobwebs sorted out from the computer setup and everything there. So it looks like we'll have about 22, 23 trucks taking grid here tonight. And it's looking tight up at the front for that pole position. So we still got a little bit of time left to go here. About 1:20 left. A few trucks still on track making their qualifying lap. And then also fuel windows here, roughly probably about 19-20 laps on fuel. And with that being said, with a 70-lap race, that should mean this should be a 3-stop race. Shouldn't have any fuel mileage to worry about. These guys should be able to just pretty much drop the hammer and then go for it and work the pit strategy. However, this track here, for me, is probably one of the most treacherous pit road entries and exits, honestly, in iRacing. Just you're going about 230, 240, and then you got to get all the way down to, I believe, 65, 70 miles an hour in a very, very short amount of time with these very, very heavy trucks. So it's going to be fun to see how it all shakes out over the course of this race. And I'm looking forward to it. So basically, we have tonight. Next week, we got Talladega, and that'll finish 4 of the 12. That'll kind of be that first grouping of the 4 races, and then basically we'll then do it one more time. We'll switch back over back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we'll race there, followed by Daytona back here, and then at Talladega, and then that'll finish up our regular season. So plenty of racing to come over the course of the season here. We'll finish up right around early mid-December, right before the Christmas break, when we will crown our 2023 Season 3 champion. All right, and it looks like we have completed our qualifying. So let's go and see if this cooperates today. We're going to pull up our qualifying results. And it looks like, once again, it is not going to cooperate. I've been having some troubles with my overlay system, if you will. So once again, unfortunately, looks like technical difficulties getting the best of us here once more. Not ideal. But as you see, the field all starting to grid up here on the track. And yeah, sure enough, having the same issues as once before. So with that, we will do the old-fashioned way, calling out our starting grid. So on pole position tonight, going to be the number 11 of Matt Wagner on pole. Next to him is going to be the 88 of Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, Richard Sanchez, Bud Steele, our top 5. Then you got Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson, Kenneth Gallman, Austin Call, Jack Walls, our top 10. 11th on back, then you got Eric Laurie, Corey Buskirk, Carl Lingle, Nick Wing, Jacob Lee, Ambrose Nabel, Jeremy Osborne, Frank Ranger Jr., Michael Menchaca, Bob Fitzgerald, Ryan Decker, Jim Brooks, and Hondo Longmire going to start shotgun here this evening. So that one works. Aha, we're back. All right, let's pull up that starting grid once more. And you can see it went to the tens of the thousandths of seconds between Gabe and Matt right there. 0.000. It went to a fourth decimal place that we don't even have here. And then you got Kevin Freese there, only 4 thousandths off there in third. Top 3 is separated by a minute distance there, so pretty impressive for those guys. As you see, pace truck starting to roll off. There goes that number 11. And also difficult here to get rolling because, again, that banking, these drivers have to be careful not to kind of get a little too aggressive getting onto the track because I have seen it before where a truck will kind of just hook and then spin out as they get up to speed. But see all the trucks rolling off onto the track right now to get that warm-up lap underway. And some great looking paint schemes as well. Looking forward to kind of showing those off over the course of the evening here. All right, so I think we gotta vote for Bud Steele in that number 6 machine. We'll keep an eye, see if that pulls prediction. That's the word I was looking for. Comes out correct or not. However, it's going to be that number 11 and 88. And again, we talk about the bank on this track. When these trucks kind of nail the throttle down, it really kind of kicks the trucks off to the side a little bit. So you have to really be careful as you build up speed here. Get on the throttle because it really likes to try to break loose here. So we'll see. Again, danger zones for me at this track are really the entries of turn 1 and turn 3. The inside line, it's very easy to kind of hit that apron. Then at that point, you just wash straight up the track into that car to your outside, or in this case, truck to your outside. So that's going to be where people need to be really aware of their surroundings, making sure they do not hit that entry. And a lot of times what you'll see is that lead truck will actually kind of move a groove or half a groove off the bottom to give that outside line a little bit of, give the truck behind, I should say, a little bit of space to see what's going on. So we'll see. We got at least 70 laps to find out how it's going to shake out, as it's going to be, again, Matt Wagner leading the way here, waiting for that green flag to fly. And we are underway here at iRacing Superspeedway. Green flag is out. Matt Wagner and Gabe Butler leading the way. And you see Matt getting a great start here. And this is definitely a track the inside line will prevail on that opening stint here because the shorter distance is so critical here. You'll see right here as they come through on 2, you're going to see the 11 just kind of start to pull away from that from the 88. And you can see he already has cleared the 88. But now here's where the momentum shift starts to happen here. We'll look off the back. And here comes Gabe Butler, just like we talked about, that head of steam here, going down the back, getting big pushes here from that 510 of Rick Sanchez. As they come out of 4 for the first time, it's going to be that drag race to the start-finish line. Who will lead lap number 1? Give it to Gabe Butler in the 88, who will lead lap number 1. So a bonus point to the 11 for the pole position, bonus point to the 88 for leading lap 1. So as always, bonus points super critical in these things. You never know how it's going to come down at the end to make the playoffs and then to win the championship. So, but we'll see a little bobble there out of the 11 coming out of turn 4. Or turn 2, I'm sorry. But look at the third lane. Here comes Charles Johnson and Dean Wilkinson. Very, very potent duo here. We'll see what they can do. You can see the 510 of Rick Sanchez is completely left out to dry. Charles could clear. Dean could not. He has to stay up to that third lane. Now he's going to, nope, he can't get in there. Another truck fills that gap before he had a chance to get in. I think that may have been Jacob Lee, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, I am indeed mistaken. This is a 30 of Carl Lingle, who's able to drop down there. And right now, we've definitely got a kind of an inside line forming here from the front of the pack. So you see how they come out of turn 2. You can see how singled out it's really gotten. It's pretty much towards mid-pack here, really, where I saw the second lane start to form. I think that might be right here, that 998 of Corey Buzzkirk and the 41 Jeremy Osborne. They've linked up on the top side, but it really looks like everybody's kind of just taking it easy to get things going here. You see the 51 Jim Brooks just in front of them. But right now, our highest climber thus far is that pink truck right there, the 48 of Ryan Decker here going down the front. Looks like locking on possibly to Nick Wing. And yeah, here comes another one, Jacob Lee. He wants to go with him as well. These guys don't want to ride. They want to go to the front. But now looks like the 48 opposite gets to the bottom here. But we have a little bit of movement once again up front. Matt Wagner is going to try to pick up Bud Steele. And we'll see if they can make that second lane form here. But you've got a pretty stout inside combo there of the 88, the 25, and the 9. So yeah, that move to the outside has not paid off for Matt there, as well as for Bud. But again, still a long ways to go. You see Eric Laurie starting to peek into the mix here as well in the 071. Always one to watch as well with those boot knockers. So we'll have to keep an eye on them. But I'm watching the 9 of Charles Johnson. I feel like it's probably a matter of time before we see Charles probably, I think, especially maybe coming out of turn 2. If he can clear the 11 of Matt Wagner, that would be the perfect time to pop up, steal that draft, and try to make a big charge. But man, these trucks are definitely getting a little squirrely here. I saw a moment there on the outside line there, and I think that may have been this time. I think it was Jacob Lee that had a moment. He's kind of fallen towards the back here a little bit. Yeah, he's going to slot right back in line there in the second lane, but had a moment, gathered up nicely. But saw one go way up high there on the entry. I think that may have been the 83, but nobody near him, so he is good to go. And do have one truck off the draft here. That's going to be the 17 of Frank Ranger. Don't know if anything happened to him. I'm checking timing scoring. I don't see anything that stands out. But unfortunately for Frank, has lost the draft. And actually, a few of these guys got to be careful right here. We talked about Corey Buzzkirk there a little earlier, and then also Michael Menchaca here in the 34. They're just about a second off the pack here, off of the back of the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. So they need to try to lock on together to pull back up to the main pack. But right now, they're starting to kind of click the wrong way, unfortunately. And again, with the speed of these trucks, when you're going 240 or so, you need to have all the help you can get speed-wise. And kind of like we called it there's the 9 Charles Johnson. He has jumped to that outside line, being helped by Matt Wagner. Let's see if I can pull up our numbers here to see how fast that truck is going, in fact, here. So I got to find the right buttons. It's one of those things that I got too many toys to play with. Sometimes I lose which ones to push here. All right, here we go. You can see coming out of turn 2, 225 miles an hour. Now he's going to get that push down the backstretch from Matt Wagner. And looks like pulling about 227 here. So I think leading the pack here, don't get as much top end. You get a big run if you a little further down the field here. Yeah, about 227. You drop down to about, looks not a big drop, actually, about 223 it looked like for just a moment there. So again, just kind of the speed of these trucks have it. This is where things, like I said, these things happen very quickly with these trucks because of that. And it was really close there at the line between the 9 and the 88. Not sure who officially led that lap, but like I said, these guys are definitely going to be kind of keeping it tight here. Right now, Ryan Decker still trying to continue the trend of being the highest climber. He's jumped to that outside lane here. So you got Boonaka locked on to the inside here. There are those top 3 positions. Austin Call right behind them. Rick Sanchez in the 510 as well. Good to see Rick back as well in that 510. He is always one to keep an eye on as well. And then the other thing, of course, is the pushing that's going to be going on in this race here. I've seen the 11 just really locked on to the back of that 9. There's another shot right there. As soon as I kind of switched to You saw the big push. You can see that time Charles definitely leads that lap and might have a slight chance to clear the 88 entering turn number 1. Nope, can't do it. Has to stay to that outside line. But yeah, so you have to be very, very careful. You can push these things pretty aggressively. However, you just got to make sure you're squaring those pushes. And unfortunately, you just get a little off center with a push, and it's going to have a bad day for a number of drivers. And it takes just the smallest amount of offset as well to make it happen. So, but right now, though, these laps are clicking by pretty quickly. We're about to start lap number 10 here this time around of 70. And also remember, talk about the fuel line. It's being in the 19 to 20 lap range. So probably about halfway through this fuel run as well. And still looking a little further back, I'm still watching the 998 and the 34. They're still just off the back, and I think that 04 here of Ambrose is trying to roll back to maybe help these guys out, give them a little bit of extra draft here. And Dean Wilkinson, he's just kind of in cruise control. This is kind of what I'm used to seeing out of Dean. He keeps that truck nice and shiny. He doesn't want to kind of scratch up his chrome. And then once it's time, you'll see him make a charge. But surprisingly, though, usually his teammate in the 9 of Charles Johnson, usually he's doing the similar with him, rolling the same approach. Ooh, I think oh man, that was close between the 9 and that 9 car truck and the 11 truck there, because it looked like for a moment that 11 truck was actually hooked to the 9, but luckily able to hang on to it. And no, yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think Bud is definitely more than willing to sign people's babies should they bring them to victory lane. So if you are looking for a baby to be signed post race, definitely make sure you have a Sharpie though, because I say Bud doesn't always have a Sharpie on him. So, but always more than willing to sign your baby. Right now, pretty steadily 2x2 here. I'm going to look a little further back here because Carl Lingle here in the 30 truck, he's kind of running where I like to be, right behind the 2-wide action, actually right in the middle of the 2-wide action in front and behind him. I want to say that actually might be the Atlanta Olympics paint scheme out of that number 30 truck, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the 1996. Feel free to go back and try to remember how old you were back in 1996. You'll feel old here in just a moment. But yeah, really good looking paint scheme out of that 30. And what I was going to say though was basically I like to be in that spot where he is, where he's just able to kind of roll single file as best he can. Let's say he's about to get kind of caught up in kind of multiple 2-wide spots here. I really like that spot that he's in because you're able to you have space in front of you. You can react should something happen in front of you. And then for a little while, at least until now, of course, but you don't have to worry about anybody to the side of you either. Obviously, now it's kind of changed because Jacob Lee, he's starting to make a charge up there. I saw Jeremy Osborne for a moment. He looked like he was ready to charge as well. But now they've kind of settled back in here. Yeah, no, I don't think the homemade tattoo gun will go very well, and I won't ask where you were able to smuggle that into the track security though. So, but what you do see right now though is the inside line. They're starting to kind of getting piled in here on the inside. I think pit stop strategy is starting to come into play here. You wonder maybe we see some trucks depending on how they want to split this race up here. I'm terrible at math, so I'm not going to try to do the numbers, but there's definitely multiple ways that you can try to split this 70-lap race up. However, it is typically at this track you will lose a lap when you pit under green flag conditions. So that's a big difference between here and a Daytona and Talladega. Here in Atlanta Motor Speedway, you will go at least one lap down here under green flag pit conditions. So short pitting is a little extra risky in that sense. So, but right now, though, I mean, this is some great control by the Bootknockers, able to kind of lead that front pack here. Although right now, Charles Johnson's been able to kind of stick his nose in that mix there with Eric Laurie now behind him. But I think this is a strategy saying, you know what, I want to be right with these guys because if they pit, I want to pit with them. And I think that's where I think if we stay green to pit stops, that's where this whole race is going to change. Mistakes on pit road, getting into pit road, making your pit stall, and getting out of pit road. Again, this track is, to me, the hardest track to do this at because of the fact that the entry to pit road, you have to really hustle it in there. And then you're also going about 65, 70 miles an hour. It's quicker than Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. It is a quicker pit road there, so it's easier to overshoot your pit stall, which I'm very, very guilty of very, very often. And a certain viewer in our YouTube chat can definitely vouch for my pit road abilities. And then also it's a very flat pit road exit, so it's really tricky not to wash up into that white line and get a pit road exit penalty. So this is going to be a crucial one for these guys not to make any mistakes getting on and off pit road. And honestly, I feel like this is a track where if you can go an extra lap, it might be better off to be able to get it going that way. So right now we are on lap 16 of 70 here. And yeah, it's pretty much a single file train. I see two trucks up top there. I see the 55 Dean Wilkinson kind of at the very back of the train. And that's the next strategy here. You also see the 17. He is officially now a lap down Frank Ranger. What he needs to do right here is to slot in, kind of cut down here, and pick up the back of that 70 truck here. And I don't know, it's going to be tight if he can pull back up onto those guys. He might lose that draft as well. But yeah, right now everybody's ready here. And this is where, again, strategy-wise, for me, I like to try to save as much fuel as I can during this run and run that one extra lap before I hit pit road. Some drivers maybe opt to pit a lap earlier than others, because the last thing I want to do at this track is I do not want to pit with 10, 15 plus trucks here, because it's just almost always a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. So now it's just one of those things, you're kind of holding your breath until you see some truck make that sharp left onto pit road. So far, no takers yet, and great teamwork here and great, really, race control right now by Gabe and Kevin up front here in the 88 and the 25. Started in second and third, respectively, currently running first and second. Right now, Ryan Decker still our highest climber currently with plus 12, well, plus 11 now as he falls back to 10th. So you see he's up on the outside lane there, I think actually slotting behind Matt Wagner there. And I think everybody's starting to position themselves here, because you want to figure out, okay, where did you qualify? Okay, where did you qualify? Because that's the next step, is make sure you're not stepping on each other's toes on pit road entry. So, but again, though, we're coming to 18. We're on 18 now, coming to 19. This would be probably the earliest for those that have been really using their fuel up, and it looks like no still is the answer here. So it looks like at least lap 20 now will be the first pit road mark. And so what this tells me, though, if they can indeed go 20 laps on fuel, that tells me that final stop, basically, in one of the stints, though, they can basically pit about 10 laps into the run and then be able to do so. You almost be able to split one of the runs in half, basically the short pit, for that final stop. So right now, I'll say about to hit lap number 20 this time around. We will keep an eye on that 88, and we'll see if he's the first to make that left. And yeah, here they come, and see, it looks like it's gonna be the field pretty much. And 21, a little bit of contact. 48 sending in deep. So far, everybody's pointed in the right direction here. So that was the field hitting pit road here. And now you see a lot of trucks here kind of rolling in the pit stalls just to try to make sure that they don't get run over, basically. However, this is good news, bad news here, where if you're the 83 and the 55, you save fuel, you can go one extra lap, but you're really not locked onto each other, so you're not making a lot of time, because by the time Dean gets to the 83 now, they haven't had the speed, though, that those other guys had in the draft. But the hope is that maybe they can really hustle it onto pit road here, because here comes the guys that pitted. They're all rolling out of pit road now, and it looks like mostly clean stops. Unfortunately, it looks like the pit road police has caught one, and that's going to be the 510 of Richard Sanchez. He's being stopped and held. There's the 83 and the 55. They're on pit road right now, along with the 70 now on pit road as well. And actually, Ambrose here stopped. Had to take a tow here. Not sure what happened to Ambrose there. We'll try to take another look here, see if we can get a look at it. And it looks like I wonder. Oh, he may have run out of fuel. I'm thinking because that truck does not have a lot of pace here, or possibly a hardware issue with the car. Because yeah, you can just see the thing just abruptly comes to a stop. Does not bring out the caution, so we stay green. And you can see here comes Gabe leading this pack still. We'll watch the intervals here shortly, but the next thing I want to watch is right here. Jack Walls, Dean Wilkinson, they're coming out of pit road now. We're going to look out the back of that number 83 Pennzoil, last week's winner. We're going to try to see what we can do. See how he's able to get out of pit road because he's still building up speed. These guys are probably going about 220 plus, and there they go. Feels like he's sitting still here. So he's going to have to hope that he can maybe tag onto one of these guys. But that one extra lap without drafting help, I think, is really hurting that pack right there. And so, again, we'll watch and see where the intervals and where everybody is after the cycle. But right now, looks like we might wind up with about a 10-truck pack here from Gabe Butler back to Austin Call. Because then right now, as you can see right now, these guys are running 46.77 last time by for that number 88 truck. Jack's still building up speed here, and he still hasn't been caught by that next group. And here's the next group now with Carl Lingold, Dean Wilkinson, and Jim Brooks. So 4-truck pack in this group here. But they're, again, about 7 seconds back of those guys up in front that made that pit stop. And then another 4 seconds or so back to these 4 trucks, including Jeremy Osborne, Hondo Longmire, Bob Fitzgerald, and then another fair way back to the next group of trucks. But right now, this is the main pack here. There's the 510 who we talked about just went a lap down here after that pit stop penalty. Unfortunately for him, just not what he was hoping for. But again, should be able to tag onto the back of this draft and be able to kind of try to hold as that first truck 1 lap down. Yeah, so right now things kind of settled in a little bit. We do have the top 10. They have all found each other. We mentioned the 510 of Richard Sanchez is, I believe, yeah, right now is sitting in that lucky dog position in that number 510. Because next line would be this truck here, the 998 of Corey Buskirk. But right now he's basically middle backstretch now while leaders are in the middle of 1 and 2. So really, right now, I mean, if you're this lead pack here, you just want things to kind of stay status quo. You like what you've got right now. And again, we talked about the pit strategy. So of those drivers that pitted at lap 19, 10 stayed on the lead pack. Those 2 trucks that went 1 lap further onto lap 20, Dean Wilkinson, Jack Walls, unfortunately, there they are. They are a fair ways back there. And lap time-wise, they ran a 47.30 compared to 46.79. So they're over half a second slower, about half a second slower, I should say, than the leaders. So, because right now Kevin Freese is just locked to the bumper here. We're going to hop on board with this number 25 here, and we'll listen in for a moment because just watch how locked on he is with this guy. Pretty much right when he gets out of that turn, he just locks on to the back of that 88. And again, right now, I don't know if you really want to do anything to kind of shake that right now. So I think right now, again, if you're in this top 10, you're kind of content here because you're making great lap time. And again, you want to settle the race amongst yourselves. So really, I would say you're going to see limited aggression and limited risks being taken by this top 10 group here from Gabe back to Austin. And then for Jack and company, the potential issue that could happen here is if these guys start to try to push too hard to catch up to those guys in front. But again, when I'm watching lap times, they've definitely bumped up their pace. They're running 47 flats compared to the 46.75, so it's only a quarter of a second slower, but still a fair bit slower, and it's about a 10-second gap now between the top 10 and 11th position. So just not what they're looking for, unfortunately. And then it's another 8.5 back to the next pack being led by Hondo Longmire, and he's getting all the pushing he can get from that 41 as well. So it's just right now, like I said, it's just pit stops change the complexion of this race, and that's exactly what we have right here. This complexion has really changed. So say while we are still under green here, I am going to go ahead and switch it to so you can listen to these things blow on by. I'm going to get a drink of water here, and that way you don't have to hear that. And then, yeah, let's watch these guys and just show the kind of the pace of the speed that these trucks have here when they're going 230, 240 plus. As you can see, the leaders are starting to catch those couple trucks we had just mentioned. That's going to be the 70 and the 998, and that could then bring in another potential battle in this race, and that's going to be the lucky dog battle, because there they come out of turn 4. Here come the leaders here as well. And again, about halfway through the fuel window here, starting lap number 30. Now, again, everybody pitted at lap 19 and 20. So based on those numbers, you expect to see lap about 38, 39 once again. For those guys, maybe lap 40, but I feel like the pace has just picked up too much for Jack and Dean to go that extra lap. So I really think lap 38, 39 is going to be when you see the field here come in for their second scheduled pit stop. So we'll just kind of keep an eye and see how that's going. You see the 70 and the 998, they jump way to the top. They're going to give plenty of room for the leaders here. And say now their goal here is to just, again, kind of try to keep the pace up and then be able to slot in line. Actually, a little surprised here that they're switching positions here. I really thought they would stay in line just to kind of keep their pace up. But the other thing I'm watching is Bud Steele here. He's just kind of leaving about 0.4 of a second or so behind Jacob Lee in front. I think just kind of giving himself a little bit of safe margin, maybe even trying to save a little bit of fuel out of that 6 truck. Because again, even if it doesn't save you an extra lap of fuel, maybe a little less fuel being put into your truck, maybe that'll be something that will benefit them in order to be able to basically be able to shorten that pit stop, get in and out a little quicker. Because looking at lap times, you see that they also now just put a lap down on that 41 truck here, Jeremy Osborne. So yeah, unfortunately, to say the groups are starting to drop a little bit, and this is my concern when they went double file. They've lost the draft that they had, and I really don't know if they're going to be able to pick up that 510 of Rick Sanchez. So we'll keep an eye and see. But right now, yeah, not feeling too confident that they're going to be able to kind of tag back on. So that was really, to me, that's the next most important thing, is just to hold on to that lead pack and try to hold that draft. But right now, though, this 88 and the 25, I mean, they're put on a clinic. At the same time, I've said it before, I don't think anybody's shown their full hand yet. I think there's some strategy play being made right now by some of these other guys, like the 11, the 48, the 9. But pit stop wise, when you see the 88, you'll see the 25, you'll see the 071. That's a guarantee. My question mark is going to be, do we see anybody else jump in with them like we did last time? Or do they say, hey, let's try to really do a big second lap and then jump on in? So we'll wait and see. It'll be curious to see how it all shakes out with that strategy. But I'm curious to see how it's going to pan out. But right now, though, looking at intervals, still we'll jump through the field here a little bit. So we talked about the lead pack here from Gabe Butler to Kevin Freese. And actually, you know what? We got some great looking paint schemes. Let's kind of highlight them here a little bit. We're going to start with our pole sitter here, Gabe Butler, in that number 88 machine, as he is currently our race leader. Right behind him, you've got the 25 of Kevin Freese in that Budweiser Chevrolet as well. And then you got Charles Johnson, the number 9 Napa Chevrolet, sitting in third. And then fourth, Eric Laurie in the John Deere John Deere Chevrolet. Apologies there. And then the Toyota of Matt Wagner in 11th, that Nerf truck. And then you got the Sensi Toyota of Ryan Decker there in 6th. Jacob Lee sitting in the 7th position. Bud Steele in 8th in his Navy Ford. Then you got the Exide Ford of Nick Wing. Austin Call in the Dude Wipes Toyota there, number 64, which is our top 10, who are the top 10 in this main pack. Then you see the 510 of Richard Sanchez right now, the first truck 1 lap down. Then we kind of jump back now about 10 seconds, or actually, no, I'm sorry, about 15 seconds now to Jack Walls behind Austin Call in that Pennzoil Chevrolet. Then you got Dean Wilkinson in the Airstream F-150, Jim Brooks in the Area 51, Ford F-150. Sorry, words are hard here. Carl Engel, who mentioned that Atlanta 1996 Olympics truck. Really good looking paint scheme. Always enjoyed that one. And then you got to go almost 23 plus seconds back here to Hondo Longmire here. He's working with Bob Fitzgerald. Hondo there in the Hondo / Goonigan / Luce's Fast podcast Toyota there. Bob Fitzgerald right behind him in his Chevrolet Silverado. And then we jump back up to Richard Sanchez, we just mentioned. Then go back here to that number 998 of Corey Buskirk. And then you got, I really love this paint scheme, the Blind Squirrel truck here for that number 41 here of Jeremy Osborne. And then you got the 70 National Guard here of Kenneth Gallman. And then trucks that are unfortunately off the pace further, including the number 34 here. He unsponsored, though, for now, of Michael Menchaca. And then Ambrose Nabel there in the 04, unfortunately kind of off on his own right now. As I think he's just having a good time. He's wiggling that truck around there. His truck is still alive and running, so that's a good sign. And then the 17 of Frank Ranger Jr., we saw him go down a lap early, and unfortunately just has not been able to recover as of yet. So that is the field. We're going to jump back to our leaders, because, again, pit stops will be looming here shortly, so not this time around. They're going to continue on. Again, we talked about probably about lap 38 to 39. We are starting lap 37 now, and we've actually switched over here to now 34 to go in this race, so we've crossed the halfway point in this one, as right now that 88 continues to lead the way here. Again, not a lot of pressure being made behind. Again, I think strategy at play in this one. And yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, right now you've got the top 4 Chevys right now leading, and then if you look at the top 10 of these trucks, 5 of the top 10 are Chevys, with 3 Toyotas and 2 Fords. So yeah, the Chevy, big bobble there by Charles Johnson, able to hang on to it, but just caught that apron just a little bit, and definitely will unsettle that truck. But looks like no takers yet. So if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna say this time by we should see pit stops, because that's going to put them now at lap 38. So again, go by the numbers, pitting at lap number 19, go 38 on that one. Again, that's a dangerous thing for me, but then you would say probably lap 57 would be their last, the furthest they should be able to go for their final scheduled pit stop. Right. And this might actually be a really good time to hit pit road for these guys, because they're about to catch the lap trucks, I should say, up in front of them. You see that 17 moves to the top there. He's going to give some room. You see the 08's going up top as well. You see the Honda Longmire. He stays low, but yeah, here they all are flying onto pit road. Oh, we got contact to 071. This is the concern I had. The 6 involved. Pretty much half of this pack here involved. I see Eric Laurie, Matt Wagner, Bud Steele, the 28 there, the 43. That was the concern I was having for that pit road entry. Let's go back and see if we can take another look at it here. And we'll focus on Matt Wagner, because I definitely saw his truck involved pretty easily. The question is, where does it occur at initially? And it looks like we're watching still. Oh, Matt was trying to avoid running into the back of the 9 of Charles Johnson, and then from there, it just is stacked up. Unfortunately, Eric Laurie was just wrong place, wrong time. And the thing is, though, off the racing surface, so no cautions for this. And, I mean, just, yeah, you see right here, you've got 6 trucks in this one. You see Charles Johnson. He kind of just, honestly, is able to sneak through this, it looks like. So, oh, man, that's a tough one there. And so now what this is going to do is it's going to completely shake up the field for that lead pack. Here comes the second group of trucks on a pit road. You see the 83 hustling it in. Hopefully got down to speed in time. Dean and Jim along with him, along with those 2 trucks with the 998 and the 41. And so now we'll switch to those trucks that have completed their pit stop. And honestly, not as bad as I expected. You've still got Gabe and Kevin and Charles all locked onto each other. And it looks like Austin's going to be able to hang on to these guys. And I really think Jacob and Ryan are also in a good spot here. And they've also kept the 510 of Rick Sanchez, again, trying to stay as the first truck one down. The trucks that didn't have as good of a time here is this pack right here. And they're all still trying to build back up to it. You see Nick Wings right there. Matt Wagner's kind of rolling solo. Bud Steele's off on his own. Eric Laurie. So that's really going to shake things up. So what's going to happen here, I'd say Dean already out of pit road like we kind of expected, along with Jack Walls. A great pit stop for Jack. He's already rolling out. They've already been passed by the leaders, but what they haven't had yet is they have yet to be caught by those guys. There's Matt Wagner. So they're going to kind of cycle with a different group of trucks, and it's going to make that group a little bit bigger. So this could help their favor a little bit, because I think that's going to kind of slow this pace of this lead pack down. And actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. That's not going to slow this lead pack down, because they still got 7. Yeah, they still got 7 trucks in here. So yeah, it's going to be, again, right now we're down to here 30 to go at the line. We talked about the fuel window being about 19 laps. So really the fuel window is going to open here in about 11 more laps. But the way this race is going, and again, the potential of being trapped a lap down if you short pit, I think you got to run this thing as far out as you can. So now we have a 6-truck breakaway here of lead lap drivers from Gabe Butler back to Ryan Decker. And you also see there the 21 here, Jacob Lee, trying to get around. I think he's trying to get around the 510, but actually you see Ryan actually is going to cut the apron just a little bit, but he's going to slot down in line there. So he should be able to hold on to them. And then, yeah, I saw one just hitting the apron here to hit pit road. That's that 04. So that's pretty much got to complete our green flag cycle here. But yeah, so right now, though, 7th on back, you've got Nick Wing. He's kind of off on his own here. He's waiting for help. He's going to pick up Hondo here. He might pick up Matt as well. I think he's just about to tag on to him. And then now Bud's got a little bit of a drafting pack here. They've got 5 trucks now. And these are 4 of the 5 trucks I know race with each other very, very frequently, and kind of the original members of Area 51 even, with Bud Steele, Dean Wilkinson, Jack Walls, and Jim Brooks. So these 4 should feel pretty committed with each other, feel pretty confident. And I think what's going to happen is I'm kind of watching that interval, and they have been closing the gap on Nick Wing and Matt Wagner. So even though the race isn't going how they would hope for, if we stay green, there's still a chance that, this could be the fight for a top 7 position here with these guys, with the 11 and the 28. So now the question is going to be, how quickly did these 3 get hooked up, and can they beat the speed that the 6 and the 55 are kind of being able to put on right now behind them? Because, again, looking at lap times right now, it's 46.78 for Gabe and company. Matt Wagner last time by was a 49.42. They're still trying to get organized. 47.59 for Bud and Dean there. So definitely the gap is closed. It's about 2.4 seconds right now between that 6 and the 28 here. And actually probably a little smaller, because let's say it doesn't account for the 43 trucks. Unfortunately, is trapped a lap down currently. However, up front, just clicking these laps off as quick as you can do. And that is the 25 and the 88 here, still leading the way. And again, we went from the main, pretty much the whole field, to 10 trucks, and then from 10 trucks to 6 trucks. So again, that's what the green flag pit stops do, especially at a track as difficult as iRacing Superspeedway. And I'm saying, again, it wasn't the fault of others. Some just got caught up in the wrong place, wrong time. You see Eric Laurie. He's actually didn't even try to pick up the draft there. And yeah, you can see that nose definitely caved in that John Deere truck. So he's just, I think, trying to limp this thing along as far as he can, unfortunately. Tough break for Eric there, but again, still early in the season. Actually, he's going to hit Perota, looks like, as we speak. And here's the answer, though. There they are. We've got now this group here from 7th all the way back to the 12th position. So say these guys are not quite all of them are on the lead lap, but we definitely have a big field of trucks here, definitely a bigger group than the lead pack. And now actually starting to double up here, so we'll see kind of how the strategy goes with these guys. But pit stop wise, though, Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, and Dean Wilkinson, they actually pitted at lap 39, so they did go a lap longer than Matt Wagner and company. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and swing on by here and hold on to that position. So right now, if you're in the top 6 group right now, you want everybody here to play nice. Like, yep, let's just let this race play out. Let's let it be between us 6. Maybe it'll even be less than that after this final pit stop. That's their goal for this one. So because we're down 2 here, 25 to go now at the line. So say again, 70 lap race. We've already knocked out 45 of them. I think that's my math doing it right, but yeah, these guys doing a great job here. So we focus on the 2 main packs here with Gabe Butler and company. The next pack here, you can see a really big group. And then now, unfortunately, got a couple of trucks that are kind of scattered around right now. Carl Lingle right now is still on the lead lap, sitting in 13th, but you can see a little bit of indecision here. They're all splitting up here, trying to figure out where to go, basically. And right now, Carl actually is the last truck on the lead lap in that number 30. And then you go to the truck, so lap or more down, starting off with that 510 of Rick Sanchez. And then you got this from second group here with these 3 here, Corey Buskirk, Honda Longmire, and Bob Fitzgerald. These are the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th trucks a lap down. So should anything happen up front that involves the 510 of Rick Sanchez, that would actually put right now Corey in the lucky dog position. So you don't want to just sit too much if you're the 510 or sorry, the 43 or the 08. You might want to try to be around that 998, because if something happens, you never want it to happen, but if it does, you wouldn't say no to taking advantage of it. I mean, yeah, we'll play the autograph session by ear. I mean, so he might still want to sign some babies. I mean, after a tough race that maybe doesn't go quite to plan, but again, still a long ways to go, you might want to sign some, so we'll see. So right now, things still holding steady, like I said. And this is kind of what I expect right now. We're going to kind of have a status quo bit right now because, again, it's not worth the risk for these guys. They don't want to make the wrong move to kind of cost themselves a chance to race amongst themselves. These guys, again, this is pretty much a familiar group of guys from Bud back to Matt Wagner. These guys have raced with each other for a long time now. And then Nick Wing looks like he's in a pretty comfortable spot right now. Like I said, everybody's just being well behaved, which, like I said, that's what the top 6 want to see. They're very happy to see everybody be playing nice and everything right now. And the other thing that we talked about too is the incident-free bonus points. It's 2 bonus points if you can have an incident-free race. And obviously, unfortunately, we saw with what happened in that the second set of pit stops, a number of drivers are going to have incident points that are going to kind of take those 2 points away from them, like the 071, the 11 truck, and so on and so forth. So that's unfortunate, but I'll say it's just another thing that kind of that risk versus reward. How aggressive do you maybe want to be? Sometimes it goes to plan, sometimes it won't. However, the one thing I still want to be able to do here, because we have an amazing sponsor on board, and so I won't be able to pull up the commercial as of right now. However, if you look in the bottom right above the iRacing.com watermark, you see 4D Racewear, and that is a company that a good friend of the league's, Jim Herrick, he sells some amazing products over there. You got racing gloves, racing shoes. Actually, generously is going to be donating a pair of racing shoes to each champion in the 3 series here on the Sunday nights, on the Tuesday nights, and on the Thursday nights. And also giving a discount to all area, 15% discount to all Area 51 members. So really appreciate you, Jim, for everything you do for the league. And definitely, if you're looking for any sim racing kind of merch or things of that nature, or like I say, gloves or racing shoes, definitely check them out at 4dracewear.com. And that's going to be the commentator's curse, because you never know if and when a yellow is going to come out, but when you kind of do a sales pitch as if it's not going to happen, that's usually when it happens. So preemptive apologies to the top 6 trucks, and you're welcome to 7th on back. All right, so this time around we're going to come to 19 to go at the line. No takers for pit road here, but this is going to be about time for strategy, because you see Gabe and company, and I'm looking at in the ticker, and I can see the 34 truck here. You got 3 trucks here, all kind of 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside. With them being kind of spread out the way they are, you get a little nervous when you're that second pack behind, because like, okay, where are these guys gonna go? If they don't catch them here before pit road, I would be kind of tempted to see if they jump into pit road here this time around. I just saw the message now, Brandon. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I hope everybody's okay. Hopefully it's just kind of cosmetic stuff. That's kind of easily repaired. But yeah, definitely thinking about you. But if you need anything from us, from the league, just let me know, man. Yeah, your seat's definitely more than safe. But sorry to hear about that. And definitely, like I said, if you need anything, just hit me up, man. I'd love to try to help any way I can. So. But glad to hear that. I mean, obviously you're chatting with us, so glad to hear you're okay. But yeah, I hope everything is going as best as it can. And yeah, there's the power of the draft right there. Last time by, Gabe and Kevin ran their fastest laps of the race because they were able to tag onto the back of that pack and steal some draft from them. And the other important thing for Rick Sanchez was he still stays the first truck one down, because it was Carl Engel, but Carl just got past, and you can see, I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up the draft of these guys, because there's going to need to be a little bit of practice with a few of these guys. You can see they haven't really stayed locked onto each other as well as you'd hope for them to be. So a little bit of a concern there for those guys. What I can tell you, though, is at this point now we are in the window for fuel. But really, the only people I would consider short pitting on fuel would be in this top 6 group. And I think at this point, the way this race is going, I don't think you want to take that risk, because if let's say 3 of you pit together, if 1 or 2 of you make a mistake, there goes your draft. So I think for this top 6, it's going to have to be a monkey see, monkey do. I think as soon as you see the 88 and the 25 duck on the pit road, you're going to have to follow suit with them. So I think we're going to see pretty much a 6-car pack here hit pit road once the window is basically once they decide to pit, which they can pit now and be good to the end. But again, at this point, with the gap they have, you might as well wait till you're as far into the pit window as you can get. So again, they pitted at lap 38 last time by. So again, lap 57 would be my mark for those guys, which again, with my bad math, I believe would be at 13 or 14 to go. So I would suspect probably about 2 to 3 more laps you will see the field hit pit road here. And then I think you'll see then the response from Dean Wilkinson and Bud Steele and company. We'll see them hit pit road the next time around as well. So the nice part is for those guys, is these guys here, they will not lose a lap to anybody from 6th on back, because they have too big of a lead right now. Because as they cross the start finish line now, they're pretty much almost exactly a half a lap ahead of Dean and company. So they've got a really good margin here to be working with. Then coming into tonight's race, looking at the points, Gabe Butler was second in points, only 4 out of the lead behind the number 11 of Matt Wagner. So right now looking like a really good points night for Gabe. Would likely put him up into the points lead after that as well. But again, we still got 15 to go here, 14 at the line. But like I said, I think this final pit stop's just about to kick off here in probably the next lap or 2. And yeah, still no takers as of yet. And I think I think everybody's probably starting to tense up, knowing that it's just a matter of time before they kind of call them in and start hitting pit road. So what we do have is, again, we have this main pack here, and the packs are starting to kind of come in together. And I'm looking at that group in the back there with the 04 of Ambrose and coming. So you can see they got 3 or 4 of them here trying to get all organized. and they've actually 5 there, and they're starting to pick up a little bit of speed, but I don't know if it's going to be enough yet to be able to pull back up onto Gabe and company up ahead of them. But they are starting to get a little bit more organized, and we've got kind of really 3 big packs of trucks right now all working together. But yeah, I'm getting ready here because I think we're going to see the 88 probably duck in this time around. Yep, here they come. And once again, here comes the field. Oh, big wiggle by Charles Johnson. Ooh, a little bit, possibly a little bump there. And that might have been enough to push the 88 over the pit speed limit. Oh, one hitting the wall in the background. That's the 70 truck there of Kenneth Gallman. He's going to grab a gear, get going again. But right now, my concern is possibly with that 88 of Gabe here. Did that little bobble there possibly affect his pit road speed? Well, to see if it's a stop and hold or not for the 88. We'll be able to tell pretty quickly of how quick or long of a stop he's got. You already see one rolling out of pit road in the background there. That's the 48, and this is a heartbreaker. I don't think Gabe did anything wrong, but I think that little bit of a bobble there, you still see him sitting in pit road, so he's got a pit penalty out of that truck. And then also Dean Wilkinson and company, they're all hitting pit road now for their final scheduled stop. But right now it's actually Matt Wagner. He's opted to stay out here. He's going to take the lead of this race. Not sure if he led a lap or not yet in this one. And actually I see, I think it's Eric Laurie down on the, inside wall. Something going wrong with the 071 truck here. Not sure if some hardware issues or not, but that truck didn't look like it was tracking very straight here. That's got a broken left front right now. It looks like possibly both front tires broken. He's going to try to limp that thing a bit road, but not what he was looking for. You can see that thing just wobbling around. But what's happened now, though, is we talked about those trucks kind of shrinking and shrinking. It's now down to, I believe, 5 trucks, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry, 4 lead lap trucks here. You've got Kevin and Ryan, and then you've got Charles and Austin after that penalty, unfortunately, from that number 88 of Gabe Butler. Matt Wagner's on pit road right now. Jacob Lee, he has pitted, but again, unfortunately, he lost that main pack, so he's kind of rolling solo right here in the 21. And the problem for him is there is nobody around, but we're going to go up front because it looks like they've opted not to just cruise anymore. They're going for it here. 25 is under attack from the 48, the 9, and the 64. He clears the 25 of Kevin Freeze. Kevin's going to give him a little shove. Little bump there. Got him a little bit out of whack there. But able to hang on to it here, and he's going to get this lap led here, coming to 11 to go. Kevin's going to jump to the top. Charles is going to go to the bottom. And right now it looks like everybody's starting to jockey for a position here. I mean, they know that there's still 11 laps to go in this race here, and it's pretty much amongst them. I'd be a little bit nervous about being too aggressive here early, but what they've done now that kind of cycles Kevin back to third here with Ryan, Charles, and Austin taking those top 3 spots. But like I mentioned, though, right now Jacob Lee, he's just stuck on his own right now. He has nothing in front of him, nothing behind him. The next truck for position is this group right here with Jim Brooks, Jack Walls, Bud Steele, Dean Wilkinson. They've done a great job of staying locked on together. But unfortunately, that one extra lap for Matt Wagner, he's actually fallen off the back of these guys, so he is just pushing this 48 truck of Jeremy Osborne for all he's worth to try to get back up to him. That way he can stay in this main pack draft as well. And here's Gabe Butler. We mentioned as he unfortunately had that pit road mishap. Again, not sure if I don't think it was of his doing here, and he's going to get a big shot there from Kevin. Kevin's trying to help him out here, see if we can get him back up to speed and get him back in this main draft, because that's going to be a lucky dog battle here between himself and Rick Sanchez. Because right now Rick is in that position. Now Kevin's just going to do everything he can to try to lock onto the back of this 88 and see if they can kind of tandem their way back to these guys. So this is a big moment for these two as well, because Kevin's just kind of playing teammate right now, trying to help his teammate in that 88 truck to get back up to these guys and then have a chance to go for the win, because right now Kevin needs help here, and I think right now Gabe is really his best chance at it. So watching the ticker here, watching timing and scoring, and got a little bit of movement up front here. Charles Johnson, he's jumping to the outside third lane. And right now, Austin, looked like Austin for a moment thought about going to kind of cut underneath the 48. He stays put. But now watch this momentum here with Kevin and Gabe here. They've got a ton of speed. They're going to jump to the third lane. Gabe's going to try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way here through the backstretch, entering turn number 3. Can he clear? Not quite. He stays to the outside, so we've got pretty much a 3 lanes of tandem racing right now. The 88, the 25, the 9, the 510, and then the 48 and the 64. Oh, Austin's going to ditch this 48 here for a moment. No, he's going to... looks like indecision there for a moment there. I think Austin's just trying to get back in line here. But Gabe's definitely, his goal here is he's got to get around the 510 of Rick Sanchez. Because, again, you don't know if and when a yellow could come out here. So, again, Kevin's going to be fully committed right now to the 88 here. See if he can shove him to the front. And here comes that big push coming down the back. So far, not able to complete the pass. I think Kevin also is probably getting a little hot. Has to recover. Oh, Honda Longmire up into the wall there. Looks like he's able to keep it straight there. I think maybe got a bump there possibly in the wrong spot. It looks like he is okay, but not what he was hoping for by any means. And then, yeah, these guys still kind of regrouping here. We're going to go back, look at Jacob Lee. Jacob still, unfortunately, just rolling off by himself here. So what's going to happen for Jacob is he's in the top 5 here. You think that'd be a great thing. But he's running in the 51-second bracket by himself, about 4 to 5 seconds slower. Oh, caution out as I say that. Trying to see where it may have been. Oh, Jeremy Osborne, Matt Wagner. Oh, big one. Dean Wilkinson involved as well. Caution out. That's going to change everything in this race. And I believe that's big damage to the 11 truck. He's going to probably have to take a tow. Maybe a faster. Well, actually, I don't think that truck's turning. So we'll see what he's able to maybe make happen. Let's go back and see if we can find what exactly happened here. But it looked like it was with... Oh, you already see the contact here. Let's back it up a little further here. Looks like just Matt was trying to push that 41, I believe it was. And I think just a little off-centered here. So let's take another look here. As they enter turn number 3, I believe it is. You see Jim on the outside. And just... Oh, yeah, they just... kind of got disconnected. Matt tries to see if he can pick him back up, but unfortunately you can see right there just catches him in the left rear. Jack Wall somehow looks like hangs onto his truck, and then unfortunately Dean tried to go top to avoid it. He's not able to get by it. The 55, the 11, and the 41 all involved. You saw the 6 they're able to sneak by as well as along with the 70. So caution is out. So we'll jump back live here. And right now, Charles Johnson being shown as our race leader. And I'm looking at the timing and score. I'm looking at where these trucks are lined up here. Look where the 88 is. He's ahead of that 510 of Rick Sanchez. Rick's hope now is that he wants to see the 9 truck hit pit road here, because if the 9 pits, he can go ahead and get a wave around and get back on the lead lap. So we'll see if Charles actually does officially pit, or is he going to make a late call to jump back out? No, he is going to pit, so that's great news for Richard Sanchez, because Gabe's going to get the lucky dog right now, but then Richard will also get his lap back as he is ahead of that 25 of Kevin Freeze. So great break for him. A bunch of trucks hitting pit road here. Looks like Bud Steele is going to stay out, gain some track position. Jacob Lee as well staying out there. It's a great break for Jacob as well. He's going to get back to the front row here. So stay tuned. We're going to step away for a moment, and we'll be back here with the 1 to go.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
No, I know. I'm sorry you got dead. right, we have one to go here. It's going to be, again, front row of Kevin Fries as well as Jacob Lee. And unfortunately, coming out of the infield care center and straight to the booth is the 11 of Matt Wagner. And Matt is the pit stop story, I think, so far has been the name of the game here in this race. But now, I mean, we're going to be restarting here with 3 to go. And, I mean, now it's kind of no holds barred here to the finish. We still only have a handful of trucks here. I think looks like about, I want to say 11 are going to be on the lead lap after Gabe and Rick get back on the lead lap there. Or actually, I'm sorry, I think Dean... Oh, no, Dean is trapped left then. I'm sorry. So lead lap cars going for the win right now sit at 11, but I mean, this is kind of a lean, mean, and green, despite some miscues on pit road for a few drivers on a couple pit stops. And so now it's going to get wild. I mean, I say, obviously, unfortunately, you were caught up in that last incident to bring out the yellow, but I mean, I feel like unless you were pretty much in that top 3, top 4 there, you're pretty happy about that yellow here.
Yeah, God, the pace was great, and then these guys, I really think, as you know, I was learning. It's I think the top may prevail, possibly. It's so hard to tell. The runs were just so enormous. If I was sit there and be glued to some guy's bumper for like maybe at 2 laps, and it's just gone. But either we're going green.
Yep, green's back out here. So now it's all about who's got the help. That inside line, I mean, that's always the place to be on these initial restarts here. You want to be on that bottom line because that shorter distance round while you build up speed, you just lose at least a truck length or so on the outside line. But and you see, Jacob, yeah, he just waited a little bit too long to get to the bottom. Jack wasted no time to get clear. He's going to sneak on by, but now everybody started making moves. Here's Bud. He's going to jump to the top. He's going to pick up Jack Walls. He's got Ryan Decker. He's got Jim Brooks. That outside line is really forming strong. However, a big push here from Charles Johnson behind on Kevin Fries.
Yeah, as I was noticing, some of your stronger guys, I would say that was a little bit tight there. Ryan Decker back there in that 48 car, I really like him. I really try to see Jack make a move to the right. Maybe we'll find out because we'll get 2 to go here.
Yeah, 2 to go at the line. And I don't know. I mean, and that's the things I'm looking at, the kind of the drivers around here. I mean, I don't know if actually no. Yeah, I do believe Jack and Bud are working together in Discord, so I would expect to see those two probably stay together there.
A little bit tight right there.
Yeah, there's actually a little bit of contact further back as well. I think everybody held on to. Yeah, everybody's pointing in the right direction, but that's what's happening now. Is everybody's starting to kind of squeeze a little bit tighter, push a little harder, and that's where that apron is going to start to potentially bite these guys. So they need to try to get through these turns. 2 more sets of turns here and be able to get to that white flag. And then at that point, all bets are off. But again, I'm seeing a lot of aprons, I see spin in the back here. Yellow's out. And I think, I saw Dean Wilkinson involved. He is indeed. And then who else is? The 70 and the 17. So you got Frank Ranger there, Kenneth Gallman, Dean Wilkinson. Caution back Dean out. And right before they got to the white flag, so we are officially in green-white checker territory. And Matt, the first thing I'm looking at is I see a handful of trucks that did not pit under that yellow, namely Kevin Fries and Bud Steele, Jacob Lee, and it shows Gabe Butler is not pitting, but I want to see he got the waiver round, so I would have assumed he would have pitted. But then also Richard Sanchez. So I think these guys are going to have to pit, I feel like, unless they were able to save enough fuel and go long. So that's going to be interesting. But let's go back here. Let's take a look at this incident one more time.
That was a case of wow. The 30 car held the 55 tight on the bottom of turn number 4.
Yeah, we're backing it up a little further here. Get a good view of Dean here, and yeah, it looked like it was just one of those things that it looks like they kind of started entering turn 3 and didn't happen until out of turn 4, as you see him the entry into 3, and yeah, really close quarters there. It's just it's getting to the end of it. Everybody's just trying to get everything they can, and then Dean's just doing everything in his power to try to save this truck. You can see catches it multiple times, but at some point, just unfortunately, you just can't quite catch him. That's where he gets caught there with the 70, the 17, and I think the 43. Oh, yeah, there's Hondo in the 43 truck. Just he was committed to the top, and at that point, there's just nowhere he can go, unfortunately. So I didn't catch that originally, but yeah, unfortunately, Hondo Longmire also getting a piece of that one. So that's going to put us back under yellow here. And then, so now, question for pit stops. Answer is pretty much nobody except for Dean Wilkinson. So we're going to step away again once here more under yellow. We'll be back here in just a moment once we get the one to go. So stay tuned, everyone.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, so lights are off of the pace truck. Pretty much no takers on pit road. We mentioned other than Dean Wilkinson. I mean, for kind of not much of a choice there. And then also the 998 here, Corey Buskirk got his lap back, got the wave around. So he's back on the lead lap here as he was able to benefit from that. So that's going to leave us 12 trucks, I believe, on the lead lap here. Unfortunately for Dean, still trapped one down. And also Bob Fitzgerald on this lead lap as well in the 08. So I'll say Bob's kind of had a pretty quiet day, but Bob's right now in the thick of this thing, right behind a really good truck to follow, and that's going to be that 88 of Gabe Butler. But I'm looking at the running order here, and I'm not sure who to expect to see work with where, because you still got Kevin and Charles lined up on the bottom. You've got Bud and Jack here together up on the top. But then you got right now, you look in that third row, you've got the 64 and the 48, Ryan Decker, Austin Call. I feel like they'll want to get to that third lane if they can.
You know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling that dark horse way in the back. No, wait a minute. Well, I'm just thinking maybe Dean can push the 071 all the way up there. Because Dean's all the way back. You know how good of a pusher Dean is. Can he do it?
It just depends on what kind of truck Dean has. And the thing is, I don't know. I feel like for Dean, he's going to want to play it safe. Again, as an admin, he's not going to want to have a yellow, but as a competitor, he's going to want to have a yellow because if he can get his lap back, I mean, he's in to have a chance for the win here. So we'll see. Right now, we've still got 12 on the lead lap. The 98 just got his lap back, but it's going to be in the hands of Kevin Freeze. Again, he has control here of this restart, so he can go as early or late should he choose. But I think, again, with the way this track is, you're going to want to wait for that green flag to fly, and they are down and away, and they are already pushing here pretty much as they are building up to speed as they start to make their way into turn number one here for green-white checkered attempt number one. There goes Charles Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say, goes Charles Johnson to the outside, but Bud makes it 3 wide.
Oh, man, Charles got hung out to dry in the middle.
Have a hell of a run. But will Bud slide down? It looks like no. Yes, he does.
I say he's going to have contact. Oh, caution back out. The 9, the 83, the 64, all getting involved there. Not sure if anybody else was involved. I do. Well, actually, I see Dean, but I think he may have thrown on the brakes there to make sure he got through cleanly because I think that's going to put Dean as our lucky dog candidate there, and that's exactly what he was hoping to see. But let's go be certain here. Let's go back and take a look. First, we'll look at the contact. Then we'll focus on where Dean is. And it's just, again, this is where everybody starts to get a little bit greedier, man. They squeeze a little harder. They try to make some gaps. And like I said, Bud was clear. He had to get to the bottom there because otherwise you just don't know. And then here entering turn 3, actually looks like the 64 may have turned down just kind of made contact with he and the 9. That got the 9 upset. And then that caught the 83 as well. And then it looks like really just the 3 of them. I'm not seeing. I'm going to actually pause for a second. So I want to look a little further up here. Because, it looks like these guys are all good. So now I'm going to switch over to Dean Wilkinson. And I think you're going to see Dean here pretty much just completely throw the brakes on this truck. And, he's pretty much, almost as slow, almost as much of a stop as you can be just to make absolutely certain. Yeah, there he goes. They slide to the bottom. He slides up to the top. Dean Wilkinson should, I believe, be our lucky dog candidate here. We'll look at the timing and scoring, and I'm seeing it looks like Dean the only truck 1 down at the moment. So Jack Wall's already on pit road, and that truck looking kind of worse for wear, so he may be having to take a tow. But now, does anybody have to pit here? And Jacob Lee, he's one of those trucks that I believe had stayed out. He does have to pit because the problem is he was running by himself for so long he had no choice. Austin Call, of course, damage makes sense for him. Gabe Butler, a little surprised to see Gabe on pit road. I really thought he would have had the fuel after the lucky dog, but he as well is on pit road. So a few trucks hitting pit road, a few already back out on track. So once again, though, we're under yellow here. You see Bud rolling the apron here, just trying to save every drop of fuel. So once again, while we are under yellow, we'll step away again, do one more wonderful ad for our sponsor, 40 Racewear, and we'll be back shortly.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, lights are off of the pace truck. You see these trucks on the bottom there saving every ounce of fuel they can. And I say we're just looking at the timing of scoring here. And Matt, I really think this caution, as weird as it sounds, I think this is a big break for Kevin Freeze because he's now got I feel like someone who will actually be committed to push him on the outside line, and that's that 5'10" of Rick Sanchez. And we know Rick's a really good pusher, but I feel like Kevin was just kind of the odd man out there prior to that because he had Bud for a little while. He had Charles for a little while. I think he just kind of had guys that weren't going to really, I wouldn't say commit to him, but kind of had their own interests in mind. I feel like Rick will be one that if there isn't an obvious move to be made, I think he probably stays locked on to this 25 here on this restart.
I think that's probably the smartest move. I'm in plenty of leagues with Rick, and he's grown to be a very good pusher. As I see, like in the past, it takes time to develop the skill of pushing, but no one's a better pusher than Kevin Freeze, and hands down, no question. But he's going to start in front of everybody. But the roles are reversed. Can Richard push Kevin Freeze to a victory?
I say, but at the same time, though, you still have to be also a good leader. You have to be able to hold a really steady line and make it easy to push. And so that's where also Kevin's abilities comes into play. But I'm have a feeling, though, there's a certain YouTuber right now that's watching saying, hey, you guys are all wrong. Send me that 48 truck there because Caitlin's watching. She's rooting on Ryan here. So
okay.
we'll see. But
Gotcha.
so this should be green and white attempt number 2 here, Matt. So we'll see if they can get to the white flag. And again, from that point on, the race will be official. Green flag is out. We're back underway here. Attempt number 2. Good even start between both lanes here. But just to see what I think the third truck could play a big role in here between Jim Brooks and Bob Fitzgerald to really get that each line rolling.
Yeah, that top group, they had a much better run. But going down turn 1 and 2, the 48 and the 6 are more in line, as you would say.
They're
linked together.
Oh, big wiggles, big wiggles. Oh, he saves
big
it.
Wiggles.
Oh, my goodness. Ryan was all over the place there, but got it squared away.
Yep, he is not lifting. Up to the YouTube chat, he is not lifting. I can guarantee you.
Oh, Kevin clears Bud. He gets the bomb. Big move there by Kevin. I think a move hit has to be made here. So now the question is, can Bud clear Kevin and maybe jump back to the top in front of Rick? Answer is no. Can't quite do it. Look at Austin Call. He's jumping to the third lane. He's got help from Jacob Lee.
That was a missed opportunity. I swear by Bud Steele there. But the white flag is out, and we're having the third lane coming up to the top. Yeah,
third lane is going to happen here before long. And I'm still watching the second lane. I'm really excited. Oh, look, more bubbles. Oh, contact in the back there. A couple trucks. It's going to be pretty much a 5 truck race here to the end. It looks like we'll see. There's a huge wreck behind. But right now it's up to Kevin Freeze and Rick Sanchez up front with Bob Fitzgerald pushing that outside line. We'll see what they got here out of 4.
Oh, man. I think this is Kevin's to lose here.
We're going to watch out the back of Kevin Freeze. Oh, is he moves?
Turned!
Yeah, Bud trying to get to the top. Rick was there. They make contact. Ryan's going to try to make a charge. Kevin's going to block. Not enough. Kevin Freeze is going to get the win here at iRacing Superspeedway over Ryan Decker. And it looks like Jacob Lee going to bring home a top 3 in that 21 truck after that late pit stop. Oh, man, but you're right. It was Kevin's lose, and he did his job. He got the win here tonight. So we've got a couple of incidents, unfortunately, here to take a look at on this final lap. So let's go back here and take a look once more. So on the final lap here, you see the 51 here. I think it starts around the 998 here. So we'll focus in on him. And you see the 64 to his outside. So we'll keep an eye on these guys. I want to say this is where it starts. And he just drifts up a little bit, makes contact with the 64. And then at that point there, let's say the thing just upsets the truck a little bit. And then he comes down. Gabe's already there. And there's trouble behind, too. You see the 04 and the 30, they were already wrecking. And there's where the 88 and the 51, they make contact. And then there's that big, the 17 involved as well. A huge hit for Frank. He pretty much climbs the catch fence there. And you see Jim Brooks down on the apron, and they're still pinballing off each other here. I lose my graphics here. There we go. There's the 30, the 28, the 71 avoiding it. You see Jim there trying to slide on through. Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson involved there trying to make that third lane happen. They unfortunately both get a piece there. Gabe's able to recover pretty well. He still grabs a gear and keeps going. And then, there goes Charles. And then the move here coming out of 4. And again, I think Bud tried to get to the outside here of the 510. I just don't think he was quite clear. So we're going to slow it down one more time here. We'll take a good look at it. See if we can find a better angle. This will probably be a pretty good shot here. As you can see, here's Bud coming out of 4. Gets a run. Tries to jump top. And actually, it looks like initially some net code. I'm not sure if they officially made contact or not. But unfortunately, that spins the 6 around. And then from there, let's say these guys are just making a charge here to get to the finish. You see the 21. So I think he tries to cut low to avoid the contact there. And then it's just that drag race to the line. And like I said, Kevin's pretty much got it covered here because just not a lot of momentum. Austin Call's trying to hustle the top side here. But yeah, that in the end of they're right there at the line. Looks like the 48 just gets to his rear bumper. But Kevin Freeze is going to grab the win here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. Oh, okay. All right. So with that here, Matt, we got to talk to some drivers. Actually, before we talk to the drivers, let's go ahead and pull up our final results now that I think about it. So let's go ahead and get those results official and up. As you see right here, Kevin Freese wins by just 0.05 of a second over Ryan Decker, Jacob Lee in third. Then got Richard Sanchez, Austin Call, Bob Fitzgerald, our top 6 that kind of snuck through those couple of wrecks to still be able to get to the front. Then you got Gabe Butler there, still able to pull off a 7th place finish. Dean Wilkinson, Bud Steele, Charles Johnson, and Jim Brooks, the last truck on the lead lap there after all was said and done. And then continuing on a lap or more down, you've got Corey Buskirk, Carl Lingle, Nick Wing, Jack Walls, unfortunately, that we see there in 15th. Michael Menchaca, Ambrose Nabel, Frank Ranger Jr. in the 18th position. And unfortunately, some of the guys that had a tougher evening, Hondo Longmire 19th, Kenneth Gallman 20th, Eric Laurie, Matt Wagner, and Jeremy Osborne there in 23rd. So with that, we got to chat with some drivers here. So we're going to kick it off first with this number 21 of Jacob Lee.
It was funny. I was just in the chats with that guy.
Yeah, so let's bring him on in over here. And Jacob, I was a little bit nervous. I saw you had to hit pit road there, so obviously you needed to have fuel for that final restart, which worked out well because you're able to kind of get through everything and bring it home in third there. But I'm going to take you back to, I want to say it was possibly the second or third pit stop, some contact with some of the trucks around you, getting on the pit road, and then you just come out of pit road just completely alone for that long green flag run. Finally get the yellow you're looking for to kind of get back into it. I mean, just take us through kind of the ups and downs of this race, because I feel like there was probably a lot going on for you tonight.
Yeah, I was getting bored there for a while until the caution came out. So it's kind of, you just sitting there riding. And,
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Matt. But yeah, we were cruising there, and we went into the pits, and I took right sides. I'm assuming them guys didn't. I don't know if my pit spot in the back took care of that problem, but I just riding there in the middle. I was praying and hoping for a caution, and one came out, worked out great for us. I kind of figured Kevin was going to pit with me there when that second green white checker come out, because I was down to 1.8 laps, and so I wanted to be safe than sorry, and I guess it kind of worked out for me. So I gotta give a huge shout out to Austin there, though. He gave me one heck of a push coming out of 4 there, going to the checkered. So a huge shout out to him for that.
I was, like I said, I mean, it was, and I say with everything going on there, it was hard to kind of focus on one thing. But like you said, I mean, because I want to say you were around the kind of the back half of the top of the 10th or so position. I want to say probably on that restart. So to kind of get through all of that with, when you know everybody's going for all that they can there, or to get all the way back up to third. I mean, I'm guessing I felt you kind of made the right moves at the right time to kind of work both lanes, and of course some good avoidance as well.
Yeah, I just had to be very cautious there. I knew there coming to the checker there was going to be some. That's why I went to the low side there. It looked like they were going to get into each other a little bit. So, and I avoided one coming out of 4, and then it got real shaky there coming to the checkered, but it all held tight and worked out great. So,
great job, man. I want to say it's the first podium you have over here with Area 51s. I know it's only been a handful of races, so great way to start things off, obviously. So definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight.
Yeah, for sure, man. This is my first time in this league here, and I usually do a lot of dirt racing. That's why you can see me. I can save some saves. So, but yeah, I got the best fuel man in the business, Hondo Longmire. So shout out to him. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I do have some real life sponsors on board that I do have to say. I got Nyco Plastics out of Jacksonville, Texas, as a sponsor of mine, and then 5G Constructions as well out of Tyler, Texas, and just a huge shout out to everybody here that makes this thing happen. J&N Motorsports, and then Hugin Motorsports. They definitely are a big help as well. So I appreciate you guys putting on this broadcast, and it's a great time, and I'm looking forward to more podiums, if not a win next time for sure. So.
All right, man. Great job, Jacob. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you up here in the future.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Jake.
All right, so now we got to jump to our runner-up tonight, and that is going to be that number 48 of Ryan Decker. I already saw the misses on YouTube chat rooting him on and cheering him on and telling him a great result. And Ryan, You went for it, man. It got a little hectic at the end. Let's say a couple of those green-white checkers just didn't really have the chance, it felt like, to kind of get as organized as you probably wanted to with some of your teammates there, but still able to bring it home runner-up here tonight. I mean, just take us through. I mean, you did get the highest climber, jumping 19 spots up into second, so that's one thing to kind of hang your hat on. But, I mean, take us through the night and then take us through that charge at the end.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, man. But it was fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Amen.
But yeah, no, it was fun. It's a little bit crazy out there at times. I mean, you know, these things would wiggle a little bit whenever it was hitting that freaking going into the turns there. If you didn't know what you were doing, then well, you know, you slid up the racetrack quite a bit. But no, it's pretty much we just kind of wanted to stay with the boot knocker guys because you know they're always up there. But it is hence Kevin winning tonight. But yeah, we wanted to stay with them, pit with them, and just you know take it easy, save fuel, ride in the back. You know, hopefully avoid all the chaos and the wrecks. And luckily, I did that tonight and came away second.
Yeah, it was a great job. And like I said, I think the strategy was definitely the call there because, I mean, to me, the first pit stop was the most chaotic because, I mean, you had about 20 trucks diving on a pit road altogether. And I even mentioned that I felt like it might be a better thing to go one lap later if you could save the extra lap. But it seemed like anybody that went long, just it didn't really work out for them. So it seemed like you had the right plan there to kind of do what they did to kind of, like I said, just keep your competitors close to you there at the end. So I can't fault you for the strategy there. But yeah, I mean, it was a great run tonight, man. But definitely want to give you the floor. So I know you definitely got a sponsor on board that's watching and listening. So definitely want to give you a chance for any thanks and shouts for the runner up tonight.
Oh yeah, listen, hey, I'm not responsible what she says in that chat room. She's a pistol, I'll tell you that much. My wife, Caitlin, she does this whole Cincy thing for my house, and that's pretty much all she does, and take care of all the kids. So I got to shout out to her and you know, her Cincy business. Shout out to y'all guys for putting this on. Green White Checker, y'all do an amazing job if I could talk, broadcasting. Gael, Matt, y'all are always good in the booth. Love y'all up there. So yeah.
I appreciate it, man. And yeah, I say go celebrate with the missus, and I say you'll get that bride here sooner than later. I say I know you already got one, so I say you gotta be careful. You may not want to get another one, but
no, I haven't. I have not won yet in this league.
Well, no. I meant the one at home that runs the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you might get in trouble there.
Just a little bit.
But no, great job tonight, man. Great, and yeah, look for it. Like I said, you keep putting yourself in those positions. It's just a matter of time, and I feel like it'll just make that win even sweeter. So keep at it. Looking forward to seeing once you do get it.
Ain't that true? You take it easy.
All right, that leaves us one left to chat with.
Man, we have to talk to this guy.
Yeah, we got to talk to this guy because he does this thing and he wins. But I mean, the nice part is he's got a hairless cat that he gets to pet. So he's going to be our man, Kevin Freeze.
You really got a hairless cat?
Yeah, go look at the broadcast.
No, I don't. I don't really, but I do my
he does.
SDK picture.
Go look at the stream. Yeah, he's got a hairless cat. It's Mr. Bigglesworth. But no, Kevin, I mean, you kind of did it all tonight. You're up front. I mean, you were kind of Mr. Pusher for Gabe for the majority of that race. I mean, you guys were setting such a torrid pace on track that it seemed like anybody trying the outside line didn't really have much for you guys. Pit road was going super well until that last one. Gabe had a bit of, it looked like maybe a little bit of a bump that kind of got him over the speed limit, unfortunately. And then you backed up to make sure you picked him up to get back there. And then you guys pushed your way to make sure he was the lucky dog on that caution to get him a chance. And unfortunately, kind of he got caught up in some stuff at the end. But I mean, you were working the teammate angle a bunch, and then you had to get greedy and go for the win yourself at the end. And it probably felt like Kevin versus the world there because I think everyone was gunning for you. It felt like.
Yeah, I think everybody in the end of that front there, after that pit cycle, was all in one chat, or Charles was in a separate one. But yeah, so I knew I needed to pick up Gabe. That pit stop, I don't know what happened. I got hit from behind. I think Gabe almost did, and then he released his brake to just try to not get hit, but that put him just above the speed limit because he had to look up quick into his mirror. So it was really unfortunate because he and I were doing I think a pretty good job controlling the tempo of the race up front, just trying to push as hard as we could for every single straightaway, just to hopefully thin the herd every single pit stop. And I think everybody did a great job on pit stops tonight because we didn't get
Nope,
a
nope.
caution. No.
Not me. Not
well,
me.
well, yeah,
Nope,
I saw
nope,
there was a
nope.
lot of death behind me
No.
on one of them.
Yeah, there was one big death pit stop,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
We'll talk about that later.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, as a whole, I mean, because I was really nervous at the first pit stop around lap 19. I want to say it because it was the field minus I think 3 trucks. I want to say that hit pit road, and that's where I was the most nervous. But everybody got in okay, and I say obviously it split the pack up. But I mean, was that something you were watching too? It's like, okay, 19 in the main pack entering the pits. Okay, now after we have 10 trucks, like. Were you kind of thinking that like, all right, let's keep trying to kind of see if we can pull these guys out one by one and kind of make it kind of thin the herd, if you will, for the final stretch to the finish?
Yeah, after every pit stop, I would just go back through the standings and see what the gaps were. And I also I have the track map overlay on my screen, so I can just look up quickly and see who we were able to pull away from. And it was just slowly whittling them down. And then I think we had, for that final pit stop that Gabe got caught up in, I think there were only 6 of us left. In terms of lead lap cars, but we had picked up a whole bunch of lap down cars. So it was just lowering our risk the longer it went green, and it was really nice. It was a good race out there for us. I just really wish we could have kept Gabe and Eric up there because that first stint we were putting down really good laps, and then when Charles was behind me, we were just trying to hit the fastest straightaway speed we could just for fun. And because we were stuck at doing 231 for I don't even know how many laps up front, and then we finally started pushing over that 232 mark, so that was a lot of fun up front.
The things that you can find to keep you entertained while going 230. But no, I mean, it was, like I said, it was a great job. I said you made all the right moves there at the end, and had to fight off a bunch of hungry drivers there at the end. So obviously, like I said, it's not easy to get these things, and like I said, you got a bunch of guys vying for it. I say it's just kind of ramps it up. But so you're able to bring it home and get the win here tonight. So definitely congrats there, and of course, as always, definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks and chats that I could get for the win here tonight.
Yeah, thanks to Gabe and Eric for running with me tonight. Thanks to the drivers running. I mean, how long did we make it before that first caution? It seemed like
I think it was
pretty good
almost
distance.
60. I want to say.
About,
I think
about
yeah.
50, about 56 laps, I believe.
64 was all right. 64, 65. It looks like on my. So I mean that's a pretty good job here. I didn't see any like horrendous eating the apron and all that. So shout out to the drivers for keeping it clean, being aware of that apron that likes to just grab trucks and kill them all. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast tonight, Madam. I guess you jumped in after your road incident.
Let's just don't talk about this. Thank you.
And
don't talk about it.
Admins for the truck felt great tonight. So that second session was a great idea. Good teamwork there with the admins, and can't wait to get back there out with the trucks. These things are a blast to drive, so can't wait for the next race to come on up for us.
Yeah, I'll say that the next week's going to be back to Talladega, say to kind of finish the 4 races, and then we'll kind of rinse and repeat for the remainder of the regular season, and then of course then over to the final 4 for the playoffs. So great job tonight, Kevin. Go enjoy it, and we will chat with you again here soon, sir.
Have a good night.
All right, so that is Dr. Evil / Kevin Freeze getting the win here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. And yeah, just like I said, didn't quite go to plan at the end for some of those guys, but I mean that's the nature of the beast of these races. Once you kind of get to that last bit, it gets a little hectic at the end. But a great job though, nonetheless, though, by all those guys. And like you said, I mean, it went a fair ways of the way they're caution free. Unfortunately, a couple pit road miscues that again, it's off the racing service.
Yeah.
iRacing not going to throw them, but a really, really good race. And like I said, everybody was kind of, I feel like once the field spread out, kind of was that by their time moments. And then, of course, once you get to those final restarts, I mean, it's just all bets are off. Everybody's going to go for every inch, and that's kind of what you get in these ones. So, but man, that was exciting though. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good track. iRacing Superspeedway it's a really good track. Probably not many people like it because it's maybe because of the speeds or maybe just the bank turns. I feel like it is a challenge. But yeah, it's pretty tough out there.
Yeah,
But not for Kevin Freeze.
Nope. Yeah, say it's definitely its own animal, and that's what I love about it. It's we have the Daytona, we have the Talladega, and then we have two very, very different ones with Atlanta, with the way it races, and of course here
Yeah.
at iRacing we're going 230 plus. So with that, I'll say that's going to be it for us here this evening. If you are interested in racing at Area 51 Racing League, we still do have 3 nights a week, 2 of which are broadcasted. Next up will be on Tuesday nights will be the Dallara IR18s. And what track are we at there, Matt? I believe Pocono, if I'm not mistaken.
Pocono.
That'll always be a fun one. And then back here at iRacing Superspeedway on Thursday night with the Xfinity cars. Boomer Logan going to call the shots over there. So for myself and Matt Wagner, thank everybody for watching, for supporting us with the league and the channel as well. And so until next time, take care, stay safe, have a good night, and we'll see you all on Thursday.